Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Sounds Good Radio. I'm your host, Shriver.
And I'm Big Neat.
Picnic. We are coming back to you in our beautiful pink Valentine's robes. Can you guess what the theme of today's episode is? We just celebrated my beautiful best friend's birthday, Big 3-4, as well as her mom's birthday.
Yes.
You
Happy
guys
birthday,
are
Mama.
2 days apart. Shout out OG. So house full of Aquarius, woman Aquarius energy, which we love. So yeah, we had a little party for you. We got an Airbnb. Shout out to Shay.
Yes.
Without Shay, none of this would have happened. The creativity, the idea,
Yes.
all of it, the execution. We're going to insert some clips for you guys so you can see behind the scenes because I was definitely supposed to vlog. Make TikToks and stuff, but we were just caught up in gossip, talking, laughing, dancing, singing, eating, having fun. But Shay's design,
Thank you, sister.
execution, above and beyond, absolutely amazing. So, what was your favorite part about it?
There wasn't a particular part that was my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for me being with my friends, with the ones that love me, and just having everybody under one roof, which is rare because the group of friends that I have are scattered across the United States, and just the fact that people made the time and travel and sacrifices to celebrate me was big enough for me. My heart was full the entire weekend, and I was just so happy that everybody was able to come together to celebrate me, of course. Yes, but it was just wonderful just having everybody. Some people that I hadn't seen in a while, and I don't know what it is. It's just something about when you have just good girl time, just good genuine time with your girls that really just makes you just feel full. Especially as women, we're working all the time, and some of my friends are mothers, and just juggling all of that and just life in general, it just weighs you down. And I just wanted to do something that would just be light and just give the girls a time to just take a mental break and just really focus on friendship and sisterhood. And me.
And me, of course.
It was so for me, I say that I have the friends that I have collected along my life's journey. My 34 years that I've been blessed to have, I have encountered many different people. Not all of them make the cut. I'm very particular about who I let know me personally on a personal level, on a deeper level. I do not call everyone my friend. I'm very protective of my space. So if I do call you a friend, it is for a reason and a good reason. But along the way, I have picked up friends from different stages and parts of my life. And at 34, the fact to have everybody from these different portions of my life come together and be able to get along and it not be weird, it's just beautiful to me. And I think it just speaks to my choice of friends that, at the end of the day, we're all different people from different walks of life, and we do different things, but we still can be able to come together and have a good time as women. And I think a lot of time women are seen to be like catty and not get along and competitive. And that is true. But I think when everybody comes together for the same likelihood, and I think for me, it was everybody came together to celebrate me. And I think, I don't know about you, this is my delusion, I'm guessing, is that because of who I am as a friend, you trust my judgment with who I welcome into the friend group. So it's not kind of like, maybe it might be like, who the fuck is this? Or who is this? But then it's not like, is Neat going to have somebody weird around, or we're not going to like her, because I am very selective, and we all are common. We all have common goals.
Yeah. Shay was really worried because she's the newest to the friend group.
Sister.
And she hasn't met all of your college friends that live out of town. So she was like, sis, you think everybody's going to like me? I'm like, girl, listen, first of all, we don't keep no funnies around.
And don't.
First of all. Second of all, like, we're all girls.
Mm-hmm.
We love, and
Mm-hmm.
we love each other. We
Mm-hmm.
love loving on each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that is exactly what Shay is and who Shay is and what she
Yes.
embodies. So I was like, trust me, everybody's going to love you. And they did. So,
Yes.
um, did you,
Hold on.
anything else?
My sister Shay, she is a light.
Mm-hmm.
She is, first of all, the girl's got it going on. She is a mother, a wife, a nurse, a business owner, and she does it all, and she does it well. You sometimes when you interact with people, you can see where their primary focus goes, and then the other parts of their life are starting to lack.
Mm-hmm.
But with her, I feel like she's on top of her game. With everything.
Mm-hmm.
And sister, you did your thing. It was beautiful. My sister is talented. Please book with her. Balloons by Shay. Please, please, please.
If you're in the East Tennessee area,
Tennessee area,
she
but
does travel.
We'll
She
be
does
there.
travel, and the work that she puts out and the love that she puts out, like,
It's the love that she pours
yeah,
into it. You can feel it.
it's absolutely 10 out of 10. Would absolutely recommend. She killed
Yes.
that shit.
Thank you, Shay, for celebrating me and also welcoming my friends and my mom and just being welcoming to them. Shout out to G and Tasha. They came and visited for me. Shout out to Kels, who is under the weather. And shout out to my girl Shani. She just had a baby. We love you, baby Tucker.
Love you.
But even the ones that were not able to make it, I still felt the love. And I love my girls. Love y'all down to the ground. Thank you
You're
for being there
welcome.
for me. Me and Lauren, I can get a little rough. I feel like me and Lauren bicker. But sometimes it can be hard to read. I am learning. So from this experience, I am learning that sometimes your behind closed door banter cannot sometimes can be misconstrued when others are partaking. So
Mhm.
for me, I want to apologize if I offended you or hurt you in any way, but I'm also taking this as a time to look within myself and say, all right, what have you done, or what are you doing, or why are you doing these things?
Mhm.
Because I love you
Mhm. Stop.
and I would never want to do anything to make you feel ostracized or different or picked on or anything. Yes, I am a ball of emotions and anxiety, and there was a lot going on this weekend, but that is not an excuse for making somebody feel mistreated. And I'm not saying that's how you felt. And like I said, we still had a great time. I just think sometimes our words or our actions can be misinterpreted,
Mhm.
and that was not my intentions. I love you. I love everything you did. I asked Shay to do something for me, and her and Lauren made it happen, and it was a beautiful. The pictures will be inserted. Everybody please look. We had a
There's
great
literally
time.
one picture of her and I from the
That's
night.
it.
Can I insert it? Do you get
Yes,
okay?
go ahead.
Uh,
But one thing is,
that's all we
I
got.
am a what do they call it when you have weddings and you don't disconnect, unplugged? I
Unplugged.
am an unplugged gal.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be in your phone and stuff, but like I feel like I am a very much live in the moment.
Mhm.
I feel like you miss a lot on life when you're too busy trying to record it in your phone. So many times you're not able to experience the big picture because you're too busy looking at this little small screen right here. You could have the biggest canyon in front of you, but you're too busy looking at this little film of it where you need to just put the phone down and take all of it in.
Right.
So when everybody says, I didn't get any pictures, I didn't do it, that's by design.
Right.
Put that phone down and live in the present and have a
Yeah.
good time and love me and
Yeah.
celebrate me. And I just want to thank everybody for doing so. I love that.
Well, we love you very much, and we would not have been there if that wasn't the case. You spoke on sisterhood,
Mm-hmm.
and that is something that I kind of wanted to speak on a little
Okay.
bit. I had actually made this little note for this episode prior to your panic attack yesterday. Just because I felt emotions were high. you and I share birthday traumas. So yeah, I was like, let me put some pen to paper and kind of get all my
Mhm.
thoughts out. So I might be a little long-winded.
Mhm.
Things are going to get a little bit deep, so maybe a little bit of a trigger warning,
Mhm.
nothing too crazy. But just maybe have some tissues ready.
Mhm.
I'm going to try to keep it together and keep it composed for you guys. So for me, they might be behind you. We had tissues, y'all. Are you sitting on them? Reach to your side. Okay. Woo! Almost dropped my
Sorry.
iPad. So for me, in my friendships growing up from as early as elementary school to teenage years to being young women to now being 30-year-olds, um, all of the people, like you said, that made the cut, that are still in my life who I consider my closest knit of girlfriends. I call y'all my girlfriends.
Mhm.
Um, as an only child and ooh, as a daughter,
Mhm.
um, I grew up without having a sister. I do have a half sister. Love you, Amy. But she and I grew up in different households. Not only different households, 1,000 miles apart. And there was a big age gap. So that's not to discredit the relationship that we have now and that we've grown to, as young
Mhm.
women and women in our
Mhm.
early 30s, 40s,
Mhm.
we have a relationship now. But growing up, I did not have that.
Mhm.
So for me, my girlfriends, y'all were everything.
Mhm.
Like I was with y'all all the time. Like I rarely spent time at home because y'all were my sisters.
Mhm.
Y'all are the people that I want to be around, that I
Mhm.
want to laugh with, that I want to cut up with,
Mhm.
that I want to fight with. And I think that's what I've realized with our relationship as well is we bicker like
Mhm.
sisters
Mhm.
real bad.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
when it's just you and I,
Mhm.
it's cool.
Mhm.
But when we get around other people,
Mhm.
mutual friends,
Mix it
I
up again.
tend I tend to maybe be a little overly sensitive or heightened
Mhm.
emotions. I'm a people pleaser. So it just seems more amplified. I don't know. But going back to growing up without a
Mhm.
sister, pretty much all of my close friends are also either only childs
Mhm.
or if they do have siblings, they're all brothers.
Mhm.
You have
Have
all
two brothers.
brothers,
Mhm.
and then Courtney
Mhm.
mainly has brothers.
Mhm.
She's got a half sister.
Support.
Again, did not grow up in
Mhm.
the same household. So it wasn't really until well into my late teenage to early 20s that I realized like this is why I have this bond with these
Mhm.
women, because y'all get where I'm coming
Mhm.
from. And I mean, I can't speak for you all,
Mhm.
but I feel like maybe you feel that same way with me of
Mhm.
like as a sister, as some, because it's an experience that you, unless you have a sister or unless
Mhm.
you don't know either side of it. And for me, I don't know what it's like to have a sister. I don't, and then to now I have 5, 6 of y'all, and I'm like,
I don't know. I have brothers. I don't have
mm-hmm,
any sisters, and my brothers were rougher with me. They
mm-hmm,
are, in fact, they are protective of me, but there are some things that you cannot share with a man or a boy.
mm-hmm,
So I agree with you with having a female friend, having that bond and that familiarity, because there's just some things that a woman can relate to
mm-hmm,
that a man cannot relate to.
absolutely.
I think I've also valued that and have looked for that in a friendship. I think when it crosses over into a friendship, into a sisterhood, is to be able to break down those walls and be able to be open, honest, and vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
and there not be any judgment. I think that's the original. We listen, but we don't judge.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Sisterhood is
To say,
being.
hey, this is the ugly side of me.
Mhm.
Hey, this pissed me off.
Mhm.
And that's where friendships make or break.
Mhm.
They're either going to fall apart or you're going to be like, you know what? No,
Mhm.
I can admit my wrongs. You can admit your wrongs. Let's figure this the fuck out and let's be happy together.
Yes. Yes, and I think at, going back to sisterhood is actually being able to feel open enough, or secure enough
Mm-hmm.
in your friendship to even open up, because sometimes being able to open up about the things that you've never said out loud, or the things that you wouldn't dare repeat to so and so and so and so. And also, there's a level of trust, because if you don't trust your friend with these things, if you don't trust them in general, you're not going to trust them with your deepest, darkest secrets.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a person that say everybody doesn't need to know everything. Some things can be held close to the chest. Some
Absolutely.
things can be taken to the grave. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but also there are some things that you just sometimes have to unload and get off your chest, and sometimes those things are not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to have a sounding board, I think with you and a lot of my friends, with Tasha, we'll call and we'll just vent and just be talking, and just it could just be the most. Sometimes it could be just minimal things, but they can be maximal things. And sometimes, as a friend, you need to be able to recognize: do you just need me to listen, or do you want my advice, or do you want my input? Sometimes we don't want to hear no advice you got to say. Just listen to me. Just listen to me and hear me out and let me get this off my chest. And sometimes, okay, I'm ready for your input.
Mm-hmm. I might not listen to what you got to say.
But
I might not follow that
exactly. But
advice.
I'm ready for you to tell me,
Mm-hmm.
give me your input. And sometimes, when you have that input, that can help you form the necessary steps that you need to make to find a resolution to whatever it is that you're venting about. But the root of it all is trust.
Mm-hmm.
The trust and the transparency. When you can trust a person, all the other things will follow. The sisterhood will follow.
Yeah.
Even if something is done that a person doesn't like, as long as you know at the root of it that there is love there,
Mm-hmm.
anything else can be figured out.
Yeah.
And worked out along the way.
Yeah.
I'm not the one to say that I've not fallen out with my friends. I have. We've gone the weeks, months, maybe a year or two without talking to each other. But once it's all the begrudging and the stubbornness gets out, and you sit down and everybody knows that this is with love. I love you. You love me. I hate that we're not talking right now.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to resolve this? And we talk it out. Then it can be done. I have seen it. It's been friendships that I thought I would never come back from, and just a simple phone call, and just ironing out the nitty gritty. And sometimes it's just, again, taking accountability and saying, you know what? I was wrong, or you was wrong, or I see why you felt like that, and being able to get past it. But as long as you know that this person is your person and the love is there, and that is the root of it all, everything else can be figured out along the way, as long as love is at the core.
Absolutely. Excuse me, guys. I got a lot of frogs in my throat. So still wanting to talk about the sisterhood and the growing up and the, all this stuff. So as I got older, and as with each of my close friends, you start sharing stories. You start sharing life, history, traumas, childhood, all that stuff. I started to realize again, like, damn, okay, I'm not the only one that didn't have it quite so great. And maybe it's a trauma bond, but each one of my close friends has their own story that they have shared with me. I have shared my story with you all. And you realize that you're not alone in that trauma. And I can speak for myself as an only child, as a daughter. There were a majority of my childhood and adolescence was spent thinking, no one will ever understand this. No one knows what I'm going through. I can't tell anybody. They live this perfect life and mom and dad are happy and everything's. And the reality of that is, we all have our shit. We all have traumas. And I feel so grateful to have friends that I can confide in, that I can share my traumas with. And like you said, I can feel safe in that. Because in whatever way, shape, or form, y'all get it. You can relate your own traumas with what I'm going through. So with all that being said, I don't want to get too deep, and we can save the mommy issues for another episode. Cause that is another trait. Happy birthday, OG. Another thing I realized in all of my close girlfriends and my people that I consider sisters is none of us really have daddy issues.
Mhm.
We all have mommy issues. Um, so that's something that is not talked about as much. I feel like, especially with women, it's that stereotype of, oh, women have daddy issues. Newsflash.
That's incorrect. A lot of them is mommy issues, and they think they're daddy issues, but it's your mom. Your mom's
Yes.
the problem.
Yes, absolutely. And
I
yeah.
will say for me, just off the thought, not all of my friends have mommy issues, or at least maybe we haven't just peeled that layer back. But I have a couple of friends that have what I will say I envy the relationships that they have with their moms. I love my mama. I'm close with my mom. My mom's just left the house. She's been there all week. But I have friends that they have more of
a best friend mom.
yes type of situation. Oh, I'm going to call my mom. I had a friend, we were in college. We'd literally be pre-gaming, trying to go to a party, and my homegirl, she was the only one with the car, my girl, and we'd be like, come on, we ready. Everybody dressed, gussied up in the heel, in their high stilettos, and my girl would be like, I want to go with my mommy. Let me call mommy real quick. So we had to wait till she got off the phone with her mama before we could hit the streets, get outside. And please believe we were outside.
TSU days.
So like I always envied that of being able to like call my mom and just chit chat, and again I can do that with my mom, but it was just to a different level that I always envied and wished I had, and I loved for them that they had it. It was not, I don't want to, maybe envious is not the word that I want to use.
No, I think it
Admire?
fits. I think it fits because with my own mommy issues, Mama, I love you, and we're working. We're working on it, and we're doing great. I'm now at let me take a breather, guys. Just a minute.
We're all. It's been a long week.
I now have the relationship with my mother that the little girl in me always wanted.
I'll just leave it at that. Sometimes, but I think in order to get to that space from the beginning, you had to be open and honest and transparent. And both sides had to be ready to hear each other out and come to a ultimate resolution, which is what it's all about. And I'm happy that you all are be able to meet in the middle and have this growing and budding relationship. And honestly, for anybody, the mothers and the fathers out there, it's never too late. It is never too late. As long as there is breath in your body, you can have a relationship with your child. You just need to hear them out, hear what their needs are. Even if you don't agree with them, please do not invalidate them, because that's how they feel. And see where you can do to find a resolution and meet yourselves halfway. Everybody deserves a parent or a loved one, and to have that closeness and to be able to have that, I think you should do the best that you can to do so. But always keep the line of communication open the best that you can. Even if it wasn't, learn how to learn what their language, their love language is, and meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing that we're able to heal trauma bonds, because I too feel that as a woman, the things that I struggled with my mom as a woman, now I understand where she was coming from, or where her stance was on things, or why she was how she was.
Yeah.
And me now at 34, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I understand why you wanted to come home to complete silence after a long day's work, because I need 2 to 3 business days to readjust after a long day of work. So I can only imagine what it was like with 3 kids. So I think sometimes time and experience can definitely be able to bridge that gap that is sometimes needed when it comes to healing.
Yeah. Absolutely. And if you're out there listening and you can relate to anything that we're talking about, if you have mommy issues, if you have unresolved traumas, whatever the case may be, like Neek said, it's never too late.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out, express yourself, say what you need to say. Um, you might just have to be the brave person to be like, look, I want to make our relationship better. Here's how we have to do it. So I'm so grateful for my mother. I'm so grateful that now, as a 33-year-old, I can work towards building that relationship, that mother daughter relationship that I have wanted my whole life. Like you said, that best friend. And now I look forward to talking to my mama, and I look forward to when she calls. Whereas teenage me would have been like, what, Molly?
Hey, girl, call me.
So, with all that being said, with Galentine's and friendships and everything, I just want you to know, you and everybody listening, all of my close friends that are listening, I love you all. I appreciate you all through the good, the bad, the ugly, the crying, the fighting, the cussing, the screaming. I love you, and you can't get rid of me. So, there's that.
Mean it.
Love you, big gal, and big gal. So, okay, sorry. We call each other big gal. It's a term of endearment.
Yes, we love each
Please
other.
don't think that.
We're not body shaming. For our, I'm just kidding. We're not.
Okay, let me keep it nice. They don't know us that well yet. We'll ease you into the derogatory things we call each other.
That's what she said.
It's all in love. Okay, let me scroll back down to my note here. So, to brighten the mood up a little bit, since we're talking about all things womanhood, all things girls, we want to touch on what it's like being a girl today versus what it was like when we were growing up, and the major differences in adolescence, teenage years, the formative years that, you know, you're going through puberty, you're maturing, you're learning about love, you have your first love, all that stuff, how it's different now versus when we were growing up. So, the first little thing, okay, go ahead.
Adolescence was a time, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure it was rough. Rough for me because
Your brothers?
I had brothers, and so I was the only girl. So my mom wasn't prepared for a woman blossoming in under her roof. My mom was a pretty independent kid. She jumped off the porch when she was 15.
Wait. Figuratively, not literally.
What?
Jumped off the porch.
Oh, yes, figuratively. She did her own thing when she was 15. And ever since then, so she basically taught herself about everything that needed to be, what she needed to know about being a woman. And she passed those things down to me, which I feel she did a great job. But some things we could have did a little better. It'd been a little bit more informative, but she did the best. I did the best I could with what I got. But adolescence for me was rough. I had acne.
Did you?
Yes. Terrible.
I don't remember you having acne.
Good. I had acne. I had braces.
Twice.
Yes.
Just like me, twice.
The changes in your body, your hormones, boys. They're literally the only thing that matters. Boys.
I hope you don't mind me saying this, but you developed physically pretty early on. Did you? Kinda?
I did. They didn't.
Are we talking about the top or the bottom? We'll keep it PG.
My bosoms did not grow. They budded when I was like 13. This is when I entered womanhood. That's when my Aunt Flo came. I was 13 years old. So I had a little air, a little beer. And I thought I was doing good. I was happy with that. But after the 10th grade is when we really kicked it into overdrive. Not exactly sure what happened. Actually, I do, but I'm not telling you. But yeah, they so yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know what I was
Got a
saying,
frog in my throat.
Yes, adolescence is crazy. I remember I feel like for me, I felt like I got my, are we saying period?
Yeah, menstrual cycle, period, flow.
Monthly.
I bled.
I got my girl, when I was 13 years old.
Mhm. I
I
was
feel like
11.
like I said, I feel like I was behind.
Yeah, I was
I feel like
11.
everybody was already, so I was into the curve, but nobody really talked about it. So I didn't know. Maybe again, I feel like as a kid, I don't know if I blacked out everything or what, but I feel like I was just oblivious to everything. I was literally just living in la la land. So no, I don't remember if anybody was like talking about their periods, which
Mhm.
I'm sure they weren't. I mean, that's taboo, especially as a kid. But when I was shook when it finally hit me. But I was 13, but I feel like these days the kids are, you said 11, so I guess because I'm hearing 10,
Well,
9.
yeah, thanks to all those hormones that get injected into our foods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's younger and younger. Kids are budding in puberty younger and younger, which
Mm-hmm.
is scary enough in itself. So we can tie that in with our first little bullet
I'm sorry.
point. It's okay. It fits perfectly with dress code. Growing up in school, growing into your body, all that stuff. When we were in school, dress code was strictly enforced. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't want you showing cleavage. We couldn't even wear spaghetti straps, tank tops, nothing. Skirts used to be to your knee,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was what, if fingertips down by your side, and you
Mm-hmm.
used to try to like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or raise them up. So like, is
Yes.
that my fingertips? And I just feel like, because we, like you said, we have children. No, we don't. We have friends who have children. Some of those are which middle school, even some in high school now. And from what I've seen, and I'm not speaking about their kids, but just their classmates, like they wear whatever they want to school now.
The kids are advanced.
So can any teachers, principals, administrators, can y'all sound off in the comments what happened to dress code? Okay?
What's happening? Because back in my day, it was, if you had a strap, it had to be, what is it, three finger. It had to be this wide.
On your because
yes.
one finger, a spaghetti strap, that would really
You
send
couldn't
them
do it. It had to
into
be at least 2 or
a fury.
3.
Like, come on.
There was no midriff. What's a crop top? No, ma'am.
The
That's what triggers me the most.
Why am I seeing everybody's navel? Children.
Yes, the crop tops.
But that also relates to the parents that let those children go out of the house wearing that. Which, granted, we all at some point probably did a little outfit
Yes.
switcheroo.
Yes.
But it's, I
And I understand
mean,
it's expressing their body, and you shouldn't be able to tell anybody. But I feel like that's the problem now. Everybody wants to be grown.
Yes.
And there's no preteen stage.
Mm-hmm.
There's no junior stage. Everybody just wants to immediately go from being a kid to being a full grown woman. Like, why do you have a full set of lashes?
Right.
Why do you have a full set of nails that are longer than mine?
Right.
Do you have a full face of makeup at 11 and 12? I understand that these are skills that you're going to need as a woman and a growing woman, but I feel like that's a bit early to be doing all that. Sew-ins, wigs. Why are you in middle school with the lace front wig on, sister? What's happening?
High school.
What happened to braids?
Right.
What happened to bow reds?
Yeah. It's, I mean, and speaking on white girls, I mean, extensions, lash extensions, tanning beds, fake nail. I mean, I was in that tanning bed too in high school, but it's just, we've been stripped of, our innocence.
Yes.
Even, it just gets younger and younger and younger. And it's sad really, because used to being able to get your nails done, that was something I looked forward to. It was like, I knew once I got to be 13, then my mom was going to let me go get my acrylics, and they were like the little shorties. Yes, okay. The little, right. With the extra short, I think is what they would be considered now. As far as makeup, I was allowed to wear makeup, I think starting in about 7th grade. And by makeup, I mean mascara. And I think it started as clear mascara and some lip gloss. I had this really cool glass. It was so 90s. Computer desk that I used as my little vanity. I've had a vanity my whole life, and I just love that. But I had like 2 or 3 little things, right? Some of it was hand-me-downs for mom, some of her old lipstick, whatever. And then I think by 7th, 8th grade, that's when the super dark black eyeliner and mascara trend was in. Trended. That's just what it wasn't called a trend back then. But so I remember starting that. But as far as face makeup, like what I have on now, freaking stage makeup, never have I ever. Like, I couldn't imagine putting on a full face of foundation and blush before school.
Mm-mm.
Before school?
I didn't start wearing makeup. I wore makeup for the first time my junior prom,
Mm-hmm.
and when I say makeup,
Can we insert the picture?
my little dusting of eyeshadow. Probably the
Mm-hmm.
same. This is probably the same palette. Little dusting of eyeshadow, a little eyeliner, a little mascara, and a little gloss. Your girl was in there,
Right.
and that was
It was
and
cute.
at that time I was beat to the gods, and that
Mm-hmm.
was literally it. So, and I was 16, 17.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, makeup wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't even maybe the girls didn't. Maybe she didn't require. Actually, I did. I had acting,
No,
but
you were beautiful.
anyways, so
It just wasn't. It's just a
wasn't to
time
this.
difference. Nobody. And
Even
it's not like it was
lashes-
just us.
lashes weren't a
Nobody
thing
was
either.
wearing makeup
No.
like that.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I cheered,
Yes.
and even on game days, I mean, I might give you a little sweep around with the bronzer, mascara, and lip gloss. Like that's all I got.
Speak to the change in the beauty standards.
True. True.
So I feel like back then everybody wanted to be natural or look as natural as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now, especially with the explosion of social media,
Mm-hmm.
and filters,
No,
that
don't get me started on filters.
the standards have been amplified. So now everybody must have a 2016 sculpted out full brow. This is my choice. I know the girls are liking the little wispy lashes or the laminated brows or whatever. We love a good flippy. We love a dramatic lash.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy that trend came, and I will never let go of it. The girl, what is it? The contours, the skinny
The nose contour seems so pointless to me. I'm sorry.
I'm so sick of you puffer fish. What did you eat that was sour? Everybody's lips got
The overlining too. Okay, can I just unpopular opinion? Contouring your nose and overlining your lips. It literally looks like you're drawing two lines down your nose and a line. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't read well.
But apparently one person did it and made it popular, and everybody wanted to run with it. Again, I understand the beauty standards has changed, and that's what the kids are replicating because that's what they see. But for me, what we were replicating was Lizzie McGuire, Raven Simone, my girl Even Stevens. Was that Christina Romano from Even Stevens?
Mary-Kate Olsen.
Yeah,
Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Ashley, trendsetters. Like those
globe setting.
Yes. Those
in Paris
were our beauty standards. I mean, even if we want to like ramp it up a notch, early years. This is before the trance dancing in the mic into the camera. Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Beyonce,
still very much
Child,
girl next door, simple,
very
clean.
toned down. Everything was very simple. Everybody wanted to look natural. It could have been a full face of makeup, but look natural. Like Gabrielle Union in Bring It On. It looks like she had no makeup on, but I mean, now that we know, and maybe she didn't. The girl, I mean, the face, but like it was not huge, overdone.
Well, and another thing too, when we were teenagers growing up in the early 2000s. The makeup products didn't exist, so like we got to witness drugstore makeup before it was drugstore makeup. Like you had your L'Oreal, your Maybelline, your Revlon. There were no black shades, there were no brown shades. It was all white, but you had a little powder compact and maybe a cream compact.
Shout out to Queen Latifah, the Queen Collection, CoverGirl. She got me in the door.
Honey.
She got me in the door.
That's what did it?
Yes. She had shades that were inclusive. And that was my first.
Really?
Yes. And she had purple compacts. Her color line was purple for loyalty.
I think they still have a purple compact. I don't know if it's the same line, but I feel like that seems
Latifah
recognizable.
Is what her CoverGirl brand drugstore, of course, is what ushered me into my makeup hood.
Yeah.
And it was, again, I felt included. I think representation is very important and is what counts. So if you see people that look like you doing this thing, it's going to make you feel more open to it. And having Queen Latifah with the most amazing silk press, the
In the history
yes,
of ever.
literally the most flawless. Like, what do you like?
Gosh,
Who's your
she's so
stylist? Like,
beautiful.
what is the routine? What's the rap routine?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to see Queen and be the face of.
Mhm.
I mean, I didn't know anything about makeup, but I saw Queen Latifah and I was like, let's figure
Yeah,
it out.
let's figure it out.
Yes.
But even, I mean, lashes.
Mm-hmm.
Before, like strip lashes, they were like the kind of obviously fake,
Mm-hmm.
almost clown makeup,
Mm-hmm.
Halloween makeup. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what was available,
Mm-hmm.
right? So people weren't wearing fake lashes.
Yes.
People weren't microblading their eyebrows. They weren't
Mm-hmm.
getting the lip tattoo
Mm-hmm.
color,
Mm-hmm.
all, like, so we've seen the evolution of makeup. So I don't know if it's availability, like that's what the products are now, or if it also is just pushing women into adulthood younger and younger and younger.
Yes. Well, I know there are kids that have a bigger makeup collection than I have. I think it is. I hate to be this person, but I think it is the oversaturation on social media.
Mm-hmm.
When the people that you're seeing on social media are completely done up, beat face with the lashes and the filler, and that's what you see. And these people are doing paid ads and they're saying go buy such and such brand and this is what I have on, and as a kid I want to have what this person has on, so she tagged so and so in tag them, they're doing a sponsorship or a membership or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're literally just doing, they don't even use the product, they're just advertising it because they got paid for it. And then now as a consumer, just because she has it on, I'm going to go buy it.
Yeah.
And the people that are buying it are younger and younger, and the
Yeah.
parents are paying
Letting
for
them,
it.
but
So,
yes, taking them to the store.
so
What do they call it?
why
The
is a
Sephora
child in
kids.
Sephora?
The Sephora
You need to
kids.
be in Walmart in the makeup aisle again with
Claire's.
a Revlon. Is
I think
icing. Anyways,
the girls don't know.
they hadn't been outside,
We
but
had it so
I
good.
think the root of it all is just there is no preteen, there is no in between.
Mm-mm.
So for us, um, so there's this huge jump from girlhood to womanhood these days. But I think for us, we had girlhood, juniors, preteen stage,
Mm-hmm.
and womanhood, and um, and when I say that, we could go to the store and there would be a junior section, and there was actually a real junior section. It wasn't just like two or three racks. It was a full corner of whatever store, J.C.
Yeah.
Penney's, Dillard's, whatever store you're in. There was a junior section. There
Mm-hmm.
was juniors stores
Yeah.
that you could literally just go into and buy things that were um, age appropriate,
Mm-hmm.
that were still um, age appropriate but still fitting for a adolescence.
Yeah.
That's when Mary Kate and Ashley jumped on
Mm-hmm.
with their
Clothing
line.
line.
Everybody wanted to be Mary Kate and Ashley. I don't care what color you were down and you were in it to it with them. So you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to wear what they were wearing. You wanted to wear the most trendy, fashionable clothes. But again, we had dress code that was strictly reinforced. So you
Mm-hmm.
still could have something. And I think people say all the time that why were we dressing like we were in business attire at the club?
Because there was nothing else.
Because yes, there was nothing else, and again, we were still kind of being very much covered, and we were definitely being dictated on how women could view their body, show their body. Um, and I think it's still to this day, but it's a little bit. I feel like the more rights we have as a woman, as women, the more freely we're able to express ourselves, and that is being reflected in our makeup and our clothes
Yeah.
as well.
I'm having flashbacks to when I would wear business casual on game days. So, like cheerleading, football, and
Mm-hmm.
basketball, we had to dress up on game days. We either wore cheerleading attire or we had to dress up.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was typically for away games too,
Mm-hmm.
which is the most inconvenient because then that means, anyway. So, basketball players or football players alike and the cheerleaders all had to wear like suits
Mm-hmm.
and heels
Mm-hmm.
and pencil skirts
Mm-hmm.
and
A pencil skirt and a button up with a vest on top, baby.
Why was
And
I
then don't let me pop my
16?
collar. Don't give me the polo with the collar popped, and then maybe another polo with the collar popped, and maybe a little vest or a little blazer over top
You
of it.
can't forget the pearl
With
necklace.
the electric belt. Who ain't had that shit on?
The LED display belt.
Or the Zodiac. My mama had an Aquarius belt. It was studded and it had Aquarius on the back. Ooh, I wanted to steal it so bad, but it was a large, and I was still itty bitty at the time, so I couldn't do nothing with it. But just the beauty standards are changing.
Absolutely.
So I a pencil skirt and a nice button up. We had a time. Y'all just
girl.
A blazer and a mini skirt. That was the look. Who's not gonna? Who's? I guess niggas, and it's going, and it might be yours. Okay, insert picture because she was.
It was the gag of like getting off the bus at the school we were going to play at. A bunch of fucking 16-year-olds in pantsuits and pencil skirts walking into the gym.
Job interview.
16 years old.
Yeah.
Insanity.
They called it dressing for success.
Oh, gosh.
Let's see where everybody is at.
Right. Another topic of how things have changed and our access to media, our access to social media is cell phones. As millennials, we have seen it all. Yes. We've been through every stage of the cell phone. And it's amazing how much they've changed. Well, close. I mean, from a brick phone to with the little green light up Nokia, you know, whatever, minute plans, data plans. Can you remember like when the smart-ish phone came out? Really, I think BlackBerry was really before iPhone as far as a Palm Pilot. Do you remember those?
I do remember those. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by smartphone, because when I think of smartphone, I just feel like it's a phone with like internet on it.
Right.
So like, I mean, we had flip phones that you could get on the internet.
Right.
It was going to charge you $5.99.
Yes. There was a little icon that said, I think it said web browser. And you knew if you accidentally clicked that menu over too many times,
get out of there. You better get back.
The phone bill's not going up this month because of me.
So I didn't get a cell phone until I was 15 years old. My mom and my grandparents said they weren't going to buy me a phone until I could pay for a phone.
Okay.
So I got a job at 15 years old, and I got me a phone, and I believe it was a flip phone. And I was, listen, I wish we had a flip phone. There's just nothing better than getting mad at somebody, flipping that bad boy. Ooh, T9.
The girls don't know. I could have a whole conversation on T9 looking at you like this.
Y'all think y'all doing something.
I could be answering.
Full keyboard, baby.
One-handed.
Typing one-handed, no eyes, a full paragraph, cussing somebody out mid-class.
Answering a question in class while just...
the
muscle memory.
The talent. The skill level.
I miss it, quite honestly. T9 Word. T9 Word. And I can remember being reluctant to switching my keyboard to that. I wanted to do the click, 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 click. T9 Word, if for those that don't know, I'm just making out with this mic. I probably have lipstick everywhere. Anyway, for those of you that don't know what T9 Word is, it basically is the equivalent of what we now have as word prediction, spell check, autofill. There was a version of that on the old school flip phones or anything with the number pad that you're texting on. It learned your words and could predict it by the numbers you were hitting.
So listen, let me break it down a little bit more. So basically it was, you could only use the numbers on the keypad because that's all you had. And all the numbers on the keypad have certain letters that correspond with it.
We'll put a keypad up for those watching that might not know.
Letter that you were trying to get to from these number pads, you would have to, so like for the number 2, you have A, B, and C. So if I wanted to spell something that started with a B, I would hit the number 2 twice. That's the letter B. And then if I wanted to say ball, and I wanted to do B-A, so I would hit it 2 times for B, give it a little slight pause.
A second for the cursor to move.
Yes, and then another time for A. L is 5, is letter 5, J-K-L. I'm going to hit 5 3 times to get that L. So T9 has probably already congregated to a ball, so we can go on to the next one. So, and that's how you went with the space bar. So
it took out the double clicking.
yes,
You could spell the word just like hit one time, and it would predict out of the algorithm of how many word possibilities it could be. It would figure it out.
Yes.
And then you, over time, muscle memory and time, you could remember, okay, if I hit 457 and 4 clicks, that gets me to the word spell, or, whatever the case may be.
If you don't know,
you don't know. It was a
ask your mama.
time. It was, no, seriously, ask your mom. So then I think I got my first cell phone. Me and mom shared a phone because, again, I was never at home. I was always doing sleepovers, spending the night with people. It was like 8th grade. We shared a phone. And then maybe by 8th grade, I had my own. Either way, she got me a little flip phone with my own plan. I had a set amount of minutes I could talk.
Free before 9.
Free after 9. And nights and weekends.
No texting.
So what that meant was
just pick up and call.
You couldn't be having an hour-long conversation with your best friend. You'd need to wait till after 9 o'clock.
Or you can get on the house phone.
Because if you run out of minutes, that's all there is.
Can we talk about
for the
the
month.
extinction of landlines?
Yes. I still remember my house phone number.
I've been very upset that mom got rid of the landline. My grandparents are trying their best to get rid of it, and I said no because if I need help, that's the only number that I know.
Well, that is true.
Does anybody memorize telephone numbers anymore?
Mm-mm. I just remembered yours, but my dyslexia.
Speaking of phones, I don't even know yours. 338?
No. Don't even. Nope.
Don't
Not even close. So yeah, I got 8th grade to 9th grade. Obviously, I had my own phone. With cheerleading, I was, it was more of a necessity. Yeah, it was a necessity to have it. Be like, hey, mom, we're driving home from 3 hours away. Pick me up at the high school.
All right.
So then it was, I think it was until we were like freshmen in college. So 2010, that's when the accessibility or the data plans for accessing the internet on your phone were more prevalent. You had to pay and you could only have 1 gig of data. And it was, and then if you wanted more, it was an astronomical amount more.
At that time, it really wasn't a huge need to even be on the internet anyways.
Right.
So the internet was kind of newly becoming available to the population. So yes, there's always been internet, and they've always, not always, but for quite some time, they've always had the internet, but it wasn't accessible.
Right.
So once they made the internet accessible, it was accessible on your home computer. You had to have dial-up, where you were in a little restricted computer room area. It would use the phone line, it would dial up, and it would make these little noise.
I loved Ardell.
Connect you to the internet, and then you would you would search the internet. It was mostly a research tool. Ask Jeeves, Google, things of that nature. You want to look up the Britannica Encyclopedia.
Yeah.
It's got all of that indexed on there.
Back when Amazon was a bookstore.
Yes.
An online bookstore only.
So that was the internet. There still wasn't at that time. And then we slowly started into there were new platforms that were starting to pop up. As people start realizing, like, oh, everybody's going over here, let's jump on that. So we had AIM,
MSN,
AI, which was instant messenger, MSN. So you could, if you figured out or you knew your friend's username, you could type in there.
We had that before texting.
Yes,
you would want to go home.
You would have to go home, get on AIM, and then you could carry on your multiple conversations with all your friends. You just get their username, you look them up. We used to have outgoing messages, like all of that. And then if you were if you were ballsy or you were interested in those type of things, you could go into the chat rooms. And then from the chat room, they had like little boards. You can go to chat rooms. You could whatever the subject was, you can go into the chat room, you can meet people, talk to people. At this time, this was taboo. You're talking to a stranger on the internet, you're going to get kidnapped.
Oh, my
you're
mama.
Get abducted. Like,
mama, you would have not been happy about the chat rooms I was in. They weren't unsafe. I'll say that. They weren't unsafe. I mean, maybe they were, but I had enough sense. My mama, I would never, but like, I mean, there could be 100 people in there
Yeah.
and it was fun.
Yes.
I mean, you're just
We're
like,
just
oh,
talking and chatting.
you're from Oklahoma. Cool. Or
Mhm.
like, and it was almost hard to keep up. It's
Yes.
literally like live streaming now. And they're like,
Yes.
chat, in the chat, in the
Yeah.
chat.
We started that.
Girl.
And then once you go from the messenger, then we were ushered into more social media. MySpace. I was a Black Planet girly. We had MySpace.
Oh my
and
God,
then
I
we
forgot about Black Planet.
Zanga.
Oh, I was a coder. You couldn't tell me I wasn't a coder.
We did not know, and I wish I remember, but we had the HTML down.
Girl.
Okay, MySpace. I'm sure y'all have heard of MySpace by now. MySpace was our literal introduction to social media. And then you had Zanga, and then there was another one I can't think of it.
Tumblr.
Tumblr wasn't yet, or at least I didn't stumble upon the Tumblr.
I
until
would
later.
admittedly, I was never a big Tumblr gal.
Tumblr girl.
It wasn't my, well, Tumblr was kind of my Pinterest before Pinterest,
Yes.
if that makes
Yes.
sense.
Tumblr was in between, I think Twitter and Facebook. Yes, Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Because Facebook was only for college students.
Right.
Once upon a time,
Right.
if you were not a college student or you were enrolled in a college campus, because you could only start Facebook if you had a college email. So I couldn't just use my bunny hop at yahoo.com. It had to be a college email. So until you were enrolled in a college, you could not even get on Facebook. So Facebook was exclusive. So I think, so we had MySpace. MySpace boomed. We had a good time. A lot of drama and good times. Did you have a top 8?
I think I even got, was top 8 the limit, or did it ever go to top 10?
I think
it was top
10.
8.
But if you want, I mean, you could literally have a top 1.
Yes.
Then there.
Yeah. Oh, you could have music on your page, animations, different fonts. It was, I'm telling you, we were literally designing websites from scratch.
Nothing made my day more than coming home from a long day of school and coming back and seeing all the comments and messages.
Something about those notification bubbles.
I think that's what started it.
But now I hate notification bubbles.
It does, but it's just like, ooh,
I have to
the
clear
people
them.
love me. They want to talk to me.
Right.
What's going on?
Oh, I have a direct message.
Yes, like, what you got to say? Or like, who commented on it? Like, oh.
Yeah. It was a thrill because you couldn't get to it until after school. It wasn't in your pocket.
Yes.
You had to wait.
Get home, get on the computer, dial up, make sure nobody's on the. Another thing about dial up is if anybody picked that phone up, it was cutting the connection.
Dunzo.
So and don't let somebody call and make it through because you're disconnected. So you would have to hurry up and get home and don't have siblings because now y'all got to fight over the computer. So as for me, it was in the living room, and we were literally charging towards that Dell computer. Okay, and whoever made it there may the best person win.
May the best person win.
So we had MySpace, and then we went from MySpace,
Facebook, when it finally became available for non-college students, but you still had to be.
I was in college. I was so excited my freshman year of college, and
you didn't get a Facebook till college.
Yeah.
Really?
2009.
I think it was like sophomore year for me. So
high school?
Yeah.
How much?
I lied about my age. Because so after it was college students only, they changed it to, okay, you just have to be 18 years or older. So we all just changed our birthdays.
I was still on Facebook. And by this time, Twitter had me in a chokehold. Twitter was my primary source of entertainment.
Twitter for me was freshman year of college. That's
Twitter.
when I joined.
I tapped into Twitter in like the 10th grade.
We would literally be in her bed or my bed with both our laptops and our laps, like tweeting each other. And then just
giggling, hashtags.
Oh, Twitter.
Hashtags.
Desktop Twitter.
Amazon, OOMF, one of my followers.
Desktop Twitter is the greatest.
All the hashtags were just
the origination of a hashtag. Excuse me. It's
Trending
a pound sign. It's not it's a pound sign. That's what it used to be called. Pound sign.
Yes.
Sounds good. That's
yes.
Oh, the tie-in. That's where it originated. Okay, so you've made it this far. We're an hour into blabbing. And that is where I got my name from. Sounds good. We were making me a Twitter account freshman year of college, or it might have been like summer after senior year. And she was like, you need a username. username. Oh God, I'm not creative. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I think it was just something that, like, a kind of quip that we said at the
Mm-hmm.
time. And we'd always be like, sounds good. And I was just like,
Let's
sounds
go.
good.
Let's go.
Like, yeah.
And it stuck.
And it stuck. And it's been my username on all my socials everywhere ever.
Go
So
follow
the original.
OG.
The OG. We have so much OG.
Mm.
So that's all I have to say about all of that girlhood, womanhood. I had a couple little segments, but let's just do one.
Okay.
Okay, we want to do a segment called Cheap or Steep.
Ooh, okay.
So that is, are you a cheap ass, or if is the price too steep, will you pay it? So basically, what's one thing that you'll never spend money on? You'll always get the dupe, you'll always get the cheaper version, the store brand, whatever.
Medicine.
Okay.
Medication.
Medication, absolutely. T, let them know.
I will never get the brand.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather get the generic. They're all the same.
Yep.
Fun fact, when medications are first dropped, then they have a brand. They can copyright it, and they can only use that will be the only brand or manufacturer of that for about 10 years. And then after that 10 years, then other companies can manufacture generic versions.
Mm-hmm.
So for a set amount of years, like Tylenol,
Mm-hmm.
the only way to get Tylenol, which is acetaminophen, which is a pain reliever and a fever reducer, you could only get Tylenol. But after 10 years, they were able to make generic versions. So you have Good Sense brand, Equate brand, acetaminophen,
Mm-hmm.
which is the actual
I like the way you say that. Acetaminophen.
acetaminophen. Acetaminophen is the actual medication. Tylenol is the brand name. So you always use the basis of what the actual medication is, and there usually is a generic version, and you're not going to spend $1 million on it. Get the generic; it's the same thing. It does the same thing.
Absolutely. For me, I put purses.
Do you even
But
have a purse?
I have one.
Why would
I
you
have
splurge?
one
Oh,
that
not
I'm
splurge.
yeah,
Okay,
this
I
is
got
what
you.
I would never spend money on. Handbags, purses,
Okay.
anything of the sort, anything in that genre. I just can't do it.
Okay.
I can't do it. I feel like $100 is my limit, and even that is like, I could just wear my fanny pack.
I'm hella irresponsible. I'm hella irresponsible when it comes to really keeping up with anything. So purses, many of time. During we had off campus lunch in high school. We would go to off campus lunch, and I would leave my purse, and we would literally have to go back after school or completely turn around and go get my purse because I left it. So I full on gave up purses a long time ago. I have like a wallet key situation where they're all big one huge wad.
Shout out
So
Vera Bradley.
yes, once Vera Bradley, and I'll never let go. You keep on making them, girl, because I will buy them.
Yeah.
Um,
They're the little keychain wallet
yes.
thing. They're the littles.
I don't have
You
my
don't have
keys.
it. They
Yeah,
know
it's like a little
what it
keychain
is.
wallet,
Yeah.
and
We'll
you can
insert a
put
picture.
everything in there, and yeah, all the keys. And I'm a key hoarder, so
Mhm.
yeah, it's a heavy load. Now, as an adult, I'm starting to get into the handbag carrier of it. I'm more of a fanny girl.
Mhm.
But I'm starting to be able to see the
Mhm.
appreciation in them. But I'm not. That's just too much luggage. I'm already overwhelmed. I just
I
need
think for
everything out of my
me,
hands.
if I were to ever spend an astronomical amount on a purse, a handbag, I would never wear it, and
Yeah,
then it would defeat the purpose because I
exactly.
wouldn't want to get it dirty or ruin it.
Well,
Like,
now they're
so
saying they
then
are for like you're supposed to put 'em
collector's
up,
item.
yeah, or something like that.
Again, as human
Mm.
beings, we put value on
Okay.
things that are valueless. So then, what is one thing that you will splurge on, spend money on, that you don't mind if it's a little expensive?
Like personal care,
Okay.
personal products.
You had
Like tissue.
yeah.
I'm a Charmin girl myself, quilted
Cha
northern
cha
girl.
cha. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, I don't want to
Um,
get copyrighted. Sorry.
Cottonelle.
Mhm.
I like my tissue like that. I am a body wash. I'm a Dove girl.
Mhm.
I will not use any other body wash. I don't care how much chemicals and they're trying to kill me. My mama used Dove. She taught me how to
Mhm.
use Dove. Dove keeps me clean, and that's what
And
I'm
Dove's
using.
fairly affordable, but like as far as toilet paper, you can get the real cheap
Yeah.
version and you're
Yeah.
going to know, or you can splurge,
Yes.
spend a little extra money and have a nice happy tushy.
Mm-hmm.
For me, kind of along the same lines, hair care and skincare.
Mm-hmm.
There are some cheap products that I will use, and then there are some things that are like a staple that I love, and I will splurge on it. My
Shampoo.
Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream,
Mm-hmm.
it is so expensive, $80.
Oof.
I've bought it one time and I used it and I made it last. I used it like once a week. It was my special little treat. So special skincare like that, I will splurge on, but that was literally like 3 years ago
Now
at this
that you're
point.
saying this, hair. As a black woman, it's not cheap. But I do not skimp on my bundles. You pay for what you get. Unless you're going to do some searching, and I'm not a shopper and I don't like to search. So I'm an easy lick, and I will spend what needs to be spent so my hair will look good.
Well, and with that, most of what you buy that is more expensive, that means it's reusable.
Yes.
It lasts longer and
So
you
I
can get more
bang for my
use.
buck. So yes, I'll spend money on some hair, some bundles, $400, $500, $600, $700 if you will, and I'm going. Trust and believe I'm going to get $700.
Whenever you spend $700 on a piece of hair,
we'll talk about it. Well, my birthday hair 2 years ago. And she ate down, and it's the custom.
Oh, that's my yes.
With the custom
Can I insert?
Yes, with the custom
insert
color.
picture.
She was worth
Loved
it,
tea.
and I will actually. Now that I think about it, I'll go home and wash her, and I might do a reinstall.
Yep. Yeah, that was a good one. I liked that one. So okay, that was our little segment.
Up for like 3 months.
Yes.
Like I'm not a take it down and put it back up type of gal.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get it.
My favorite. It's so hard to pick a favorite on you. I love her braids. I love it when she does her hair curling. She doesn't like it, and it pisses me off.
My go-to is a side part with a bang.
A swoop.
Swoopty-doopty bang. Feather it. Give me layers.
Give you curls.
Give me Lola Falana. Love it. We love the volume.
I love when she has big curls. Like it. It just it frames your face.
Bang.
Yes.
A good old Leah bang. We're supposed to bang good. We live.
The bang. Cover up this big ass forehead. Okay, so a little sign off. We'll do our talking to the moon segment.
Now I finally have sense.
That is really cute. Sorry, we're looking at ourselves on our monitor, which I know is a bad habit. But anyway, closing out this episode with a little bit of talking to the moon. This is not related anything to what we were talking about today, but it was another TikToker that I saw, and she had a cute little quote, and I liked it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to mention that on the podcast. So her username was at, and I might pronounce this wrong, Nena Stella, Nnenna. She said, women have been driven insane by men who should have never had the privilege of doing life with us.
True. They don't deserve you, girl. Get rid of them.
Yeah. We've all been there. We've all had heartache, hardships, and just know you are the prize.
Yes.
Forever and always.
Correct.
You are a woman. You are mighty. You are powerful. You are a portal of energy into this world. And you should always carry yourself as such. So happy Valentine's Day. Happy Galentine's. Happy birthday.
Love.
Happy Aquarius season.
Yes.
Happy season of love. Okay, guys. Love you. Bye. See you next week.